Leviticus is an Australian horror romance directed and written by Adrian Chiarella. This is his directorial and writing feature debut, starring Joe Bird, Stacy Clausen, and Mia Wasikowska. Much of horror is metaphorical, but this one was very metaphorical. The metaphor is well written and consistent. Its structure holds up through Leviticus, but in my opinion, you can't lean solely on the metaphor. Unfortunately, I found other elements within the script, like the depth of plot and characters, to be lacking. So I think Leviticus might be relying too much on its good metaphor. It's not scary, and the threat doesn't feel as threatening as I think it could. So this lack of a real threatening threat flattens the movie. So there's a lot less tension than what I think it could have the potential to create in that department. It's also light on gore, and I think more of that could have improved the movie. In theory, I like the setting, which is a kind of drab industrial town, but I think if you have a drab setting like that, you need to really lean into the aspects of it that can make it scary, or you need to make the plot more interesting so I'm not experiencing a lackluster plot within a lackluster setting. It's very gray, and I think it would have been better with more visual intensity and deeper colors. It's just kind of middling gray. And they aren't really getting all of the horror that I think could be mined out of the grayness, which I think is possible, but this movie isn't really doing that. The cinematography wasn't bad, but it wasn't a standout either. I'd call it serviceable, but not striking. I did like how it often featured shots of squares, confined areas, and barriers to represent the movie's thematic material visually. The cinematography also at times communicated an idea of voyeurism or following someone, and there were a couple of slow zooms that I liked. It had pretty good sound design, and the score was kind of generic new horror style, but still good. I like the moments where the score got more intense the best. So Leviticus features good performances from Joe Bird and Stacy Clausen, but again, the depth of characters and the depth of their relationship were not fully fleshed out, so that's kind of disappointing. I liked that there was a slightly morally gray character based on an action he takes, but as the movie goes on, the depth of his grayness isn't explored as much as I think it could have been. But I do appreciate that there was some moral grayness. You can also see some character motivations throughout that are slightly interesting, and you can see consequences for some characters' actions. There are some interesting ideas, mostly presented visually, regarding interconnectivity between sex, death, closeness, and violence, but these remain pretty surface level. And I found the plot to be repetitive, just circular. So the movie was not deep enough, not scary enough, just gray. It's a mashup of genres and subgenres, but it's not scary as a horror. It doesn't lean into the religious angle a ton, and I feel like the movie kind of forgets its religious aspect at a certain point in. It's not super effective as a coming of age. It is romantic at times, but other times just seems romantic on the surface due to the characters not being deeply developed enough. It's kind of effective as a supernatural movie, but I really think it's kind of the same situation as the romance, where the horror of the supernatural element could have been more deeply developed to make the threats more scary and the horror more effective. The overall story is unsatisfying due to its surface level nature, likewise with the ending, which felt sudden and like the air was taken out of the movie. It's not like the ending is horrible, just slightly unsatisfying, and it doesn't totally bring the movie home. But I think that might be slightly purposeful in nature, just to be like, here's the ending, then you're like, okay, cool. It's a simple movie and a simple script. It's fine for horror to be simple sometimes, but I think if you're doing that, you need more gore, or you need to pick a genre and lean into it, and this movie didn't do that as it had branches in multiple subgenres. But again, at least the metaphor was consistent, so I give it props for that. However, due to the surface level nature and the lack of character depth, I can't say the movie is amazing and fully fleshed out. It's underbaked, so I was disappointed. Leviticus isn't really anything special, but it is a debut, so I try to give directorial debuts grace, and maybe the next one will be better. but as I think about this movie more, I like it less, and it doesn't feel super consequential, unfortunately. I was hoping this movie would be better, but maybe Chiarella's next one will be, with a better script and some more artistic flourishes. Thanks for watching, leave a comment and let me know what you thought of Leviticus if you saw it, and I'll see you next time.